Okay. Am I live? Can you see me at last? I'm hoping so. Okay. Oh, perfect. Right. Okay. Let me just turn. Am I live? Can you see me at last? Let me just turn my phone off. Perfect. Right. Okay. Oh dear, technical stuff. Anyways, right. So today we are going to do another one of our paint calms. And I have put the picture up on the top left there. This is my original one here. I'll tell you where the idea came from. And basically it is a mixture of this here, this idea here, which came out of the Painting Calm Connect to Nature. And it was also, believe it or not, these blobs here. So yes, it's kind of a mishmash, if you like, and that's the Wild Watercolour Connect to the Natural World one. So that's where my idea has come from for this. So I'm not copying something that's in the book as yet. So let's start with the colours that I've chosen and what colours you might want to choose instead. So you can see I've masked out my paper so that I can put my samples at the top here, my little swatches at the top. So my first colour is called Butterfly, but I think if you used Buff Titanium, this has got a bit more of a yellow tinge to it, but I think you could possibly use Buff Titanium instead, or you could use a very pale yellow and mix it with some white. So that would be my suggestion, and I'm going to be swatching these out to give people a chance to find what they're going to use. So there we have what is basically called Butterfly. These are my deep light watercolours. The next colour that I'm going to use is called River, and it's quite a dark, almost like pine green, I suppose. So hopefully you will be able to find a colour that is, so it's got a blue tinge to it, basically, slightly blue tinge to it. Yes, at last, Diana. I'm so sorry. I had a few struggles with the equipment, shall we say. Okay, then I am going to use, what am I going to use? A colour called Router's Dream. Now, how would I describe this colour? I think, what's the Daniel Smith one? Moonglow. Moonglow. This has got more of a green and purple than a, I suppose, purple and pink, isn't it, really, with Moonglow? You can correct me if I'm wrong. So that is Router's Dream. Then I have got, let's pop you back, not you, Rose Ashes, which I think, Rose Ultramarine. If you've got a Rose Ultramarine, that would probably work. I haven't left much room for the last one, have I? There we go. That is Rose Ashes. And then the final one is Masher's Green. Now, it really is a very bright yellowy green. I'm trying to think of another colour that is kind of similar, and my my dot here is going to be very small. But because these are dried, I will bring these up a bit closer. So you can see the Mashers green is quite a yellow green. Okay. So hopefully you will be able to find some colours that are a little bit like that. But in actual fact, you can use whatever colours you want. You don't have to use the same colours as me. I mean, basically what I've got are a couple of greens, a bright one and a dark one. I've got a pinky colour. The Router's Dream is nice and granulating. I mean, it's quite a purpley, greeny pink. I don't really know how to describe it. But, I mean, Moonglow would do the same kind of thing or something like that. And then, obviously, this Butterfly, which, if you haven't got, you could mix to make. So, there we go. Oh, I've got Mr. Blackbird outside my window just deciding to have a go at the food. Okay, right. Let's get going then. Rich green gold. Oh, yes, that would do, Sharon. Yes, that would work really well instead of the Mashers green. Perfect. Right, so because obviously I would probably do a background first and then dry it. I'm not going to do that today. We're going to put the background in kind of last so that we can all paint together. So we're going to start off by doing these kind of dandelion things, or whatever we want to call them, because they're really just something that's made up in a way. So we're going to start by doing those, and I'm going to use initially my butterfly colour. And what am I using? I'm using a size 8 round. And what I want to do is get my big round balls in, if we can call them that. There we go. So I've got one there. We'll have one that's a bit higher. And obviously, as I always say, this will not look exactly the same as the painting that I'm using as a reference, because things never turn out exactly the same. So there's 3. And then perhaps we'll have a bit of a smaller one there. 4. And a smaller one there. 5. I'm going to do 7. We'll put one there. And I'm going to hope that I don't get my head in the shot. I mean, this really is the bane of my life, getting my head in the video shot. Okay, so I have got 7 round blobs. I'm sure we can all do round blobs. You can hear Mr. Blackbird. Yes, he is rather loud. Bless him. Right, while these are still wet, we want to drop some paint in so that we get this effect. Okay, so you can choose what colours you want. I think initially I am going to use I think I'll use the Router's Dream, which is the dark one, like a little bit like Moonglow. And I'm just going to pop that in as a centerpiece. And they will spread out, and quite often watercolour spreads out further than we think it's going to. So there we have a little bit of that dark colour, whichever one you have chosen. I'm then going to add a little bit of the Router's Dream or rose of ultramarine if that's what you're using, and I'm just going to drop that in as well. And we're going to let that spread out a bit. And I might pop a little bit, oops, didn't get any on my brush, a little bit round the edges as well. Not all of the edge, just in some places. And just let that spread out a little bit. And as I speak, mine is, you can see it starting to spread a little bit further and a little bit further. So we can help it spread a little bit by moving our paper around. But we're going to leave that to do its thing, which is what watercolour does best, its own thing. And I think I'm going to take a little bit of the Masher's green this time to do my, I always call them stalks. What do we call them, folks? Are they stems? Are they stalks? I don't know. But I'm just going to bring my stems down. And mine are kind of, this time round, they're all leaning in one direction, I think. But that's all good as well. We don't mind, because we're painting calm. Right, this one I think we will do there, and let that one come down. I've just added a bit of water. I'm just thickening some of those up a little bit. And what I also might do is just put a little bit of green at the bottom of each of our flowery balls. I should come up with a better name than that. There we go. Stems. Thank you, Diana. Yes, stems. So this time round, mine are all kind of blowing in the wind that way, but it's absolutely fine. Each time we do it, it will be a little bit different. Now I can see that this one has kind of really faded quite a lot. So I am going to add a little bit more of the Router's Dream or Moon Glow. I'm just going to get a bit more in there. There we go. Right, I'm going to move to a bigger brush because I want to get some of these leaves in next. So now I think I'll go with a 10. We'll see how that goes. I might go up to a 12. We'll just see what happens. So we're going to put just some leaves in, and for that I am going to use the Masher's green and the River. I'm just popping them in here because I'm going to be wanting to possibly mix up colours, not just, well, I am going to mix up. It's not possibly. Let's get this right. I will be mixing the two in various quantities. So a bit more of the lighter green, not so much of the darker green. So I've got a little bit, let's move that up a bit. There we go. Yours look like balloons. Well, I suppose they do look a bit like balloons, don't they? That's fine, because they're just made up things anyway, aren't they? They can look however we want them to look, Sharon. Right, I'm going to start with a lighter green. And first of all, I'm going to get some leaves on the stems, Diana. Stems. Let's get it right this time. So we'll get some leaves on there. With the lighter colour first. And I'm not bothered about going over the top of the stems. We're not being precious here. And then I think we will get some of that are a bit darker and a bit more forward. So we can get some more going here. And you can see I'm literally going over the top of what I've already done. It doesn't matter. Let's mix a bit more up. Right, now, so we've got some quite light ones, some quite pale ones. Then we've got some that are mid-tone, I suppose. And now we're going to have some that are darker, that are more in the front. So we'll pop some of these in the front. And we're going to go a bit bigger because they're in the front. So you can have them going in any direction that you want. And do not be afraid. Everything will start merging and mingling. But that's all okay. I'm coming across that way. Like so. How are you doing, Sharon? Have you got some leaves in? Are you doing okay? And what I might do then is, for some of the leaves, I might drop in a little bit of the lighter colour or the darker colour. So I might just add but to be honest, where they're all mingling and merging, they're kind of doing their own thing anyway, which is absolutely fine. So I think I need some that are maybe just, let's add some that are just poking out the bottom here. Leaves are looking good. Well done. Yes, perfect. When it comes to leaves, I mean, our paintbrushes seem to do a lot of the work, do they not? I think I'm going to add one coming in over here as well. Just because I can. Just to counteract the fact that all of my flower balls, let's call them that, flower balls, are going in that direction. So I'm I'm putting a cheeky little leaf here in the other direction, like that. Okay. I might add a bit more of the lighter colour. Let's just... Ooh, stay. There we go. I might just put a pale one in the bottom there because it's looking... I had a bit of a gap. It was looking a bit bare. So feel free to go back to one of the sort of light mid tones if you need to. But I'm quite liking having my flowers poking up above the greenery. You might want yours to mix in with your flower balls a little bit more. Entirely up to you. Now, the tricky bit, because really I would wait for this to dry before doing a background. Maybe we will not do a background because it probably doesn't work terribly well on a live. I hope that you can all see how they are sort of merging and mingling and making these wonderful patterns all by themselves. We haven't had to do a thing. And look at our flower balls. They're looking glorious. And all we did was just drop some colour in. So I think they are looking rather nice. I don't know. I'll ask you. Shall I dry this before putting in a background, or shall I just do some of the splats? What do you all think? I could dry it and do the background, or we could just do some splats. It's just because all of this is still so wet, I can't really do any kind of background at the minute. Any thoughts, anyone? Or shall I just do what I think? Dry it, says Sharon. Okay. Right. What shall I do to be able to dry? It could be quite loud though, couldn't it? Let's see how loud it is. You can tell me to stop if it's a bit too loud. Oh. Okay, I think that is dry enough. So, okay, so lovely comment, Diana, looking out for my keyboard. Yes, I've thought about this. And so this is my swatches for my deep light palette. And I'm just going to kind of like hold it at an angle so that I don't splat too far when I do the splatting. But let's get a background in first, shall we? Last time the background that I used was the Rose Ashes, which is a bit like the Rose of Ultramarine. I did that very, very pale up to a point, and then I used the River, which is the very dark green, extremely just watered down, very pale, for the bottom bit here. So I think we will do the same thing. So let's start with, and by the way, have I got my head in the shot yet, or have I solved my problem? Let me know. Right, let's take our rose ashes, and let's make that really, really watered down. And let me just test in this corner. No, that's not watered down enough. Right, let's move it over here and try and get, that's more like it. Right, this we will just lift off a bit. Okay, now this is tricky because of not doing the background first, but we're just going to have to go round everything basically. But because it's so pale, and as long as everything else is dry, you will be okay. And it doesn't have to be perfect, because, you know, the white bits could be flashes of light showing through. So yes, let's not get too panicky about it, eh? Actually, it's not worth getting panicky about anything, really. Okay, so I've done, I'll bring that up because it's not showing terribly. It's because it's wet at the moment, but that it's so pale, it will dry in a moment, and I'll bring it up again. Now I'm going to take the river, or very dark green, and I'm just going to pop that in the gaps down here. But it is extremely watered down. It is very pale. But I think it just makes the flower balls pop if we've got a little bit of something going on in the background. Okay, I think that is enough. Right, I think that's drying now. So hopefully you can now see, because there's the white at the top there. I think you can now see the very pale pink and the very pale green. So there we go. So all that really leaves us to do is my favourite part, and I do this in not every painting, but I do it in a lot of paintings, and especially if there's something that wouldn't be static, something that is moving. So obviously, you know, there's usually some kind of a little bit of a breeze, so plant life, flowers tend to be moving, a little bit like the bee that I did with the bee garden. You know, I put some little splats around the bee. It helps to give the illusion that something is moving. So, okay, try not to get the keyboard and do some splatting. You can choose whatever colour you like. Actually, I think because the flowers have got that rose of ultramarine in them, I was going to do the green. I might still do the green, but we will use this rose ashes and just get some splats in for a little bit of movement. I'm not going to do anything at the bottom. I'm just going to do that at the top. And the keyboard is safe. Yay. There we go. We'll just wipe that a bit so as it doesn't go anywhere else. So there we go. And what have we been going? 30 minutes. Not too long then. Yes, I like these paint calms. They don't take too long. They're not too difficult. And yeah, I think that most people could have a go at them. They're accessible to any of us, and just really relaxing. So I'm going to take the tape off now, and desperately try not to rip the paper. So let's take my, oh look, I got some of the paper. Never mind. So going down a bit further, there we go. Which way round does this go? This way. I do find that this picks up some of the paper. If I've left, because I got this ready, I don't know, about 4:30 today, I suppose. You missed the direction of the sun in the piece. Yes, I don't think I thought about that, Sharon, to be honest. But by all means, do that for yourself. So yes, you could think about which direction the sun is going in, and you know, make those a little bit lighter. Oh, I missed one. I missed one. So definitely has come out slightly different to the one that I did before. As I said, will always come out slightly different. Next one. Okay, I'll think about the direction of the sun in the next one. Because, well, I think it's more important when we're thinking about shadows as well, isn't it? But this one doesn't really include shadows and things too much. So I will bring that up. Where are we? A little bit closer, like so. Yeah, I'm glad that you joined in. Thank you, Sharon. That's lovely. So I did take note of the responses about having a kind of paint calm Friday, basically something that pops up regularly on my channel. So I have taken that on board, and I will be putting a video on every Friday that will be our kind of paint calm thing, which I think has been quite successful in this month. So and yeah, that it was 100% yes to that suggestion that I gave. So I'm listening to you, and I will be doing that. I think I've got about 4 videos that I've scheduled to come out that take me right up to about Friday of next week. So there's more in the pipeline for you. And for those of you that have missed it, I have now got a Patreon. It just has 1 tier, and for that 1 tier you will get at least 1, maybe more, video that is for patrons only. Won't be on YouTube, won't be anywhere else, just for my subscribing Patreons. There'll be at least 1 pod chat or pod talk or podcast, whatever we want to call them, and I will pick a particular topic to talk about, and I might even, you know, ask for suggestions for the next topic for you to comment on, and then I will do that for the next time. Reference pictures. I'm always taking pictures everywhere I go, and one of my lovely subscribers said, oh, thank you, Diana. Lovely, yes. I got a message from one of my lovely subscribers on YouTube saying that they find it very difficult to go out for their own reasons, and so yeah, having some reference pictures provided would be wonderful. So I will do that. And then I suppose the bit that I think will be the most interesting and fun is having a Zoom session at least once a month, where if you're a Patreon, you will get the link to the Zoom, and yes, we'll all be able to see each other. If you want to put your cameras on, we'll be able to talk. If you want to put your microphones on, and we can all paint together. I can put up some reference photos, or maybe everyone wants to bring their own thing and we can all chat about what our latest project is. We'll see. But that's what the Patreon will provide, basically. So thanks so much to all of you that have joined me live. I really appreciate it. It's so lovely not to have been talking to myself, which I do a lot on video. So yes, lovely to have you here with me. And yeah, have a lovely morning, afternoon, evening, as I always say, wherever you are, and do stay calm, everyone. And I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Take care.